All right, back with some more super project videos, and as you can see on screen, maybe, this is one about strength of field, the lowest strength of field race so far. Salem ARCA Series 2023. If you look, ARCA has the 5 worst strength of fields. This is mainly because that's where everyone starts. If they're good, they move up and they take the iRating, and all the regulars just stay. So that iRating is just pulled out of there, pulled out of there, and pulled out of there. And that makes ARCA look really, really bad. If we take a look at this particular race, the way it turned out, Jesse Love, the #1 car, won the race. Only at a 2714 though at the time, and only gains 38 iRating. Sawallich, the 2 car, doesn't gain anything for his 6th place finish. And lowest iRating, well, there's a whole bunch down here in triple digits and here in triple digits. 1063 strength of field. How weak ARCA is now, we don't really have the Kimmels or the people that stick around and run ARCA and are good. So it's more of a development series now where the good people leave and everyone else is left. Only a 14 car race. Ty Gibb was the #2 car. Self was the #1. This also had Wayne Peterson in it, ruining everyone's day. This is actually Wayne Peterson's worst iRating that he got to at 24. So it's interesting. I mean, it makes sense that it would be in one of the lowest strength of fields. Jesse Love at the time, only car #7 at a 1383. And Drew Dollar. But yeah, Haley Deegan lost 96 iRating in that one as the 5 car. Alright, so let's take a look at the worst Busch Series race, and it looks like it's going to be the first year of stats that we have, so that doesn't really count. Let's see if there's any that stick out here that aren't really. Yeah, there we go. That one doesn't really fit the 2019. What is going on in 2019? Alright, so Xfinity Series at Phoenix. 1685. Kyle Busch, of course, wins it. Only gains 14 iRating. Was at a 6,700 almost. Then Ryan Truex, Reddick, Custer, Austin Cindric. It's really weird that this is one of the lower ones of the modern era. Christopher Bell had a bad day in the 4 car. Allgaier in the 2 car doesn't lose a whole lot for a 14th place finish. But yeah, that is somehow one of the worst. And I think it's because of old Morgan Shepherd and Jeff Green. That's what it is. I think they are skewing everything because they are doing the whole start and park and are just destroying the strength of field at that time with their very low 100 and 200 iRating. If we take a look at the smallest iRating change for winning a race, Kevin Harvick has that one locked down by 3 points in a K&N West Series race. We'll go take a look at that race. So Harvick comes in 2017 as the #1 car at a 6,837 iRating in a 1541 strength of field at Sonoma in 2017. And well, as you can see, he wins it, gains 11 iRating, and yeah, the other ones that were way above things, Suarez way above everyone else in the 3 car, only finishes 11th, loses 30 iRating for it. Blaney The number 2 car finishes 26th, loses 126 iRating for it. Not a whole lot of like super low numbers here. Just got the 620, 681, and 619, and Jesse with the 673 or 675, sorry. But yeah, I mean, Will Rogers gains 94 iRating, getting second in the number 15 car. But this is the biggest farmer race there is, and Kevin Harvick is it. But that doesn't mean he's the biggest farmer, because if you go look at this column here, whose name do you see so often? It's Kyle Busch all over the place for the smallest iRating gains for a win, because he has went on a farming streak. And yeah, there's in the top 300 there are 130 Kyle Busches in this, while there's only like 30 something Richard Petty's. If that just kind of gives you an idea of the races where he was just way above everyone else and winning them. Let's go take a look at this race. His weakest win, Kyle Busch gets the win as the 6700, gains him 13 iRating. Eric Jones finishes second, 48-44, and everyone kind of finished where they should have, except for Joe Nemechek. He has a good finish, gained 64. And then Brett Moffitt. Nemechek and Moffitt pretty much switched. Otherwise, almost all in order. Now, let's look at the biggest upsets. And, of course, SVG at the biggest upset. So, the Cup Series, Chicago Street Course 2023, strength of field 3,800. SVG wins with his first start, has the car 37, gains 164 iRating for it, the largest gain ever, the biggest jump ever, because this is essentially SVG's lowest iRating he's ever been after a race, is a 15-14, which is just way out of the park compared to everyone else ever. Justin Haley gets 100 for second. That's a pretty good run. Big losers from this: Bowman in the 12 car finishing last, and Truex and Blaney at the bottom, along with Harvick, who now is down to like a 5,600 at this time. We got Greg Sachs winning Busch Series race in 1996. Let's go take a look at this one. So 1996, inflation to iRating hasn't happened that much. Plus, this is second tier, so there's going to be more low-level guys in it anyways. Terry Labonte, though, car number 1, finishes 4th. Greg Sachs, car 42, but only at 1149. He finishes, or wins, and gains 139 iRating. People that got punished in this one: Mark Martin loses 76, Dale Jarrett loses 86, and nothing too crazy out of this. Just Greg Sachs was the number 42 and won it. And so the final of the 3 biggest upsets: John King, 2012 Daytona, car number 33, wins the race, gains 136 iRating. Then we got Timothy Peters in the 8, and everything's just kind of swapped around here. Keselowski in the 1, all the way down in 27th, loses 111. Leffler loses 128. And, yeah, number 2 car, Ron Hornaday, loses 13 for a mid-pack finish. But I think we can all agree that that John King win was a pretty big upset. So the highest strength of field is, of course, the All-Star race over and over and over and over. Pretty much from 2005 and on, the All-Star race has been the biggest race. Strength of field's at 54, where you saw 2023 Chicago Street Course was a 3,400 or something. These are massive because of the smaller fields, and then everyone's got high iRating. So let's take a look at the 2015 All-Star race. So here you go. Highest strength of field race ever recorded. Denny Hamlin wins it. So does that make him the greatest? Probably not. Kevin Harvick, second with his high iRating. Hamlin was one of the worst ranked drivers in that race. Danica Patrick was in this and was the worst ranked driver at a 3788, losing 53 iRating in that. Newman was the big loser though, losing 82 iRating as the 8 car, finishing 18th. Alright, so biggest just regular Cup Series race, 2016 as well at Talladega, and then 2023 New Hampshire. Let's go look at the highest Xfinity, and well, it's going to be a Busch Series race. Carl Edwards wins it. Let's go take a look at that one. Alright, so we're at Lowe's, and it's 2006, just before the 600. Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch. The number in 8 and 7, Jimmy Johnson was actually the 1 car in a rare Xfinity Busch Series race. Sorry, I'm going to call it everything. Mark Martin was in that as well. Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart. They did not have good finishes. But Carl Edwards wins. And, yeah, looking at the best kind of standouts here, Regan Smith, the number 42 car, but we know that he climbs the iRating very quickly. And we have Morgan Shepherd here, starting parking, and the number 43, 554 iRating. So that is the highest strength of field Busch Series, Xfinity, Nationwide, whatever we're going to call it, series race. The highest truck series race ever, Johnny Benson Jr. wins it at Homestead in 2007. So, highest truck series, 2605, so you can see just the gaps in the ratings. Johnny Benson wins it over Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch only had a 49.58 at this time. Rick Crawford, Kevin Harvick. Yeah, I can see why this was a very high strength of field with Busch and Harvick in it, and then Hornaday Jr. still around as the number 3 car. The number 4 car, Mike Skinner, all the way down here, loses 118 iRating. Biggest gainer in it, Justin Marks, is the 31. He's going to gain 88 iRating. The highest ARCA race, 1685. So they've just always been low. Won by Darrell Waltrip. Let's take a look at this at Texas World Speedway. What a combination of things. ARCA, Texas World Speedway, Darrell Waltrip winning. Alright, so 1685 and 1993, probably not that terrible, but car number 2, Darrell Waltrip, wins it at a 3200. Ken Schrader, car number 3, 3200. Dale Earnhardt, the number 1 car, finishes 5th. Herschel McGriff, 4th. Tim Steele, 3rd. And he's actually the big winner out of that at 104 iRating gained. Big losers in this, Butch Gilliland loses 102 as the 15 car. Everyone else kind of fits their spot. Alright, since we're going through them all, let's take a look at ARCA East. 2002. This is actually a higher strength of field than ARCA. Mike Olson wins the True Value 150. So who do we have in this race? Well, car number 1, Brad Layton, 3,000 iRating, which is fairly high, and I've never heard his name. I've heard of Quarterly, heard of Andy, Dave Dion we've looked up. But yeah, this is interesting. Just a lot of people just slightly above the 1350, which allows it to have a higher strength of field. So the West Series does some weird things here because this is actually a cup race, but it's a split point situation. Then we got these old races where the data's kind of bad. But if we look here, Camping World West Series 2008, we're going to go with this one because it makes the most sense. Evergreen Speedway 2008, car number 1, Eric Holmes. Mike David, car number 2. It's just a lot of people that really haven't dropped iRating and a few that have gained. And that just helps it be a strength of field, but nothing special about that one other than it's one of the highest modern West Series races. Modifieds. We get just under 2,000. We've got a 1990 race and then a 2011 race. Let's go with this 2011 race just because I'm going to know more of the names in it. So 1984 strength of field in 2011 at Delaware Speedway. Ron Silk is the number 2 car, wins it. Beers Von Senior Pennick is the number 6 and gets the worst loss. Biggest gains, Kobe as the 8 car, finishing second. But a lot of these guys, I think, are just getting their careers started off. Alright, so highest ranked modified race. Holland International Speedway. Hirschman wins. Car number 1, Mike McLaughlin. And Mike Stefanik, car number 3. Jeff Fuller, the 9 car. But not a whole lot of names that I recognize. Alright, one final series to look at for best or highest strength of field. ASA. So 1785 strength of field. Mike Garvey wins. Kevin Sawinski, the car number 1 car. Car number 1 car. Let's say car a few more times. 3633. Gary Santamont. 2836. Dick Trickle was in this race. Rich Bickle. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just a lot of names from a long time ago. 2003 is actually a long time ago. But there you go. A little look at the strength of fields and the races that are in them. Hopefully you enjoyed that one, and I will see what I can come up with for the next video. Thanks for watching.